For this next story, we are back in Labrador West. And if you haven't had a chance to watch our earlier story on the childcare crisis in this community, you should do so. Once more, this story is pervasive, concerning a broken system and a vulnerable group of people falling through the cracks.
I'm looking at the fact that my mom's life is hanging in the balance.
47-year-old Angela Hardy moved home to Wabush from Ontario when she got the news that her mother, 75-year-old Cheryl Hardy, known for her breathtaking paintings of her Labrador home, was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease.
It's this overwhelming feeling of, it's like you're waiting for the funeral to happen. Did we want there to be a little more yellow in there?
Almost every Newfoundlander and Labradorian has been touched by dementia, which affects a person's cognitive function, their memory, thinking, and behavior. But in communities like Labrador West, an Alzheimer's diagnosis is a healthcare nightmare.
She might be, if the government has their way and the health system has its way, put in a space where she will have absolutely no connection anymore.
Seen here, FaceTiming her husband, Oscar. On top of that emotional toll, Hardy says late last year they were told her mother couldn't stay in the Labrador West Health Center because of her behavior.
And you're thinking, how can they take that woman and say that her only option is home care with no home care, or ship her to a protective ward but just because she wanders?
This in a town where home care isn't an option. Much like early childhood educators, those essential workers who care for seniors, children, and people with disabilities often find jobs at the local mines, where wages are nearly doubled. Alzheimer's seniors here are often uprooted, sent 530 kilometers away to Happy Valley Goose Bay, or even further to places like Corner Brook or St. John's.
So how do you tell somebody in that state that the only option they're giving us is basically signing off on your death warrant?
But to stop that from happening, Hardy launched a social media cry for help.
Hi, my name's Angela Hardy.
Calling attention to the region's lack of health care for seniors, asking doctors to take a closer look at Cheryl Hardy's medical condition and keep her mother in her community.
All she needs is connectiveness, to be connected to whoever she's there. And when nobody is there, and considering between COVID, short staff, and lockdowns, then the pattern is go in and find somebody else on that floor to talk to. Or the desire, because some of her cognitive ability is still quite there, she wants Oscar and Angela. She wants to go home.
We're working on trying to get a seniors home in Lab West.
I caught up with these J.R. Smallwood Middle School students virtually.
It's not fair because they always took care of us.
They've decided to take matters into their own hands.
So we need to have a place that we'll know that they'll be safe and taken care of.
With the help of their teachers, the students designed a senior home for the region, researching what's needed, building this model.
Well, I'm a Snow, so this is my grade 5 and 6 split class. I'm extremely proud. They've been very engaged, they're very motivated, and it's very, I think, more heartwarming to see that they're so concerned about the residents of the community.
It's about helping seniors get appropriate living in Labrador so they don't have to move away.
And the fact that there were so many kids just in this one class that had a personal situation attached to the fact of a lack of seniors facilities is the reason that we decided to take the project.
I'm making the fence for the outside of the building.
The ball just kept rolling. There was no kind of stopping them.
It's an extra special project for some of the students whose grandparents passed away in long-term care homes far away from home.
We couldn't have as many days as we could have with her.
I'm originally from Corner Brook, so for me, moving in to town, I found it alarming. I think that there was no seniors facility here. I think growing up, I just kind of took for granted that we had those services at home. So when we moved here, I kind of it was very eye-opening to know that once you reach a certain age or a certain health point in your life, you have to leave.
There's been dozens of reports, studies, and plans looking into the region's lack of resources for senior care. But these 5th and 6th graders are the closest to conceptualizing a solution.
And it was really fun because we got to like choose our own wallpapers and like what would happen there.
And they're convinced really that this seniors home, that their model is the one that government should follow.
Yep, it's all done within house.
Labrador West NDP MHA Jordan Brown says this report, looking into the senior care crisis from 18 years ago, is one of many that's never been addressed.
They built their lives here, they built their families here. Why should they leave? Why should they go somewhere else when this is their home? So right now, if you're in level 2 or level 3, there is no seniors home in this region for those kind of people. When you get to level 4 or long-term care, there is a small long-term care unit at the Labrador West Health Center. It's 12 beds, and it only offers basically care for certain kind of patients. If you're an individual with dementia or Alzheimer's, you still have the ability to get out of your bed and wander around and things like that. There is no resources here to look after someone like that. So we have people who are originally from Labrador West who never wanted to leave, dotted all across the island of Newfoundland, away from family and friends and stuff like that. And it's a terrible situation, and it's just been completely falling on deaf ears for the last 20 years. There was a case in this province of couples getting separated. We take that situation and then times it by 5, because you're getting couples separated, and then the couples are strung out thousands of kilometers apart from each other. And that's the situation we're here. That's cruel and unusual punishment to somebody, especially a senior who has like Alzheimer's or dementia or something like that, and don't understand what's happening to them. So now they're away from their familiarities, they're away from their family, and so, you know, this is just being very cruel to a person who has a very cruel disease.
It is the most inhumane. To me, what we see right now is an infringement on basic human rights.
Since she went public, Angela Hardy's mother remains in Labrador West, while doctors look into some of her acute or short-term needs. But that's temporary. Government says they're working on supports, but for Cheryl Hardy, who is on the brink of leaving her home for the first time in 51 years, time has never been more urgent.
I love you, Mom.
I loved you the morning I saw you.
The day you adopted me?
The day I adopted you.
Yeah.
Angela Hardy isn't backing down, calling for more humane measures, like in Nova Scotia, where a senior like her mother cannot be moved more than 100 kilometers away from their home for long-term care. Reporting for The Independent, I'm Leila Beaudoin.